Hi everyone, welcome back to Cassandra's Plants. I hope you guys are ready for this video because I've been wanting to do this one for ages and I finally got all of the varieties in stock at the same time. So this is the Cerapedia sort of masterclass of trailing and hanging plants. Now Cerapedia, predominantly people know them as being string of hearts. So the bog standard little trailing plant that everybody's mum has had at some point in their house, that goes crispy and dies and is just a nightmare for most people. However, there are at least maybe 5 other trailing varieties. There's probably a couple that I don't even have here that are pretty rare. You can also get other kinds of Cerapedia that don't trail in this fashion. They're sort of climbers rather than trailers, that are much bigger than this. So if you're into collecting Cerapedia, definitely go and have a look at those. However, in this video we are going to go through, now let me get this right, Silver Glory, Cerapedia Durban it's called, or String of Spades. We then got Cerapedia Linaris, which is String of Needles. I think, what is it, this one? Yep. Cerapedia Marleys, or Variegated String of Hearts, and then your good old bog standard Woody Eye, which is the one I was talking about earlier. So where shall we start? Let's move these to the back a minute. Let's have a look. So, oh, we missed this one. So this one is an Orange River, which is a new one I've just got in stock, so I'm really excited about this one. I had it in the middle, so it's an Orange River. Okay, so this one is Silver Glory. Now I'm going to take these out of the plastic so you can see. Now I have to admit, these are not my favourites. They tend to lose leaves a lot, and yeah, they can be a bit of a nightmare, the whole species. However, if you're into them and you like them and you like collecting them, then 100% this one needs to be on there. So this is a Silver Glory. This one isn't too happy at the moment, but this is my one, so that's probably why. I like to keep one of every stock that I get in the conditions that we keep the plants in, or sort of how they come with us, so in the plastic, so I can see the best conditions to keep them in, to keep them healthy. Obviously this one is putting out new shoots, but obviously we want to send out the best kind of stock, so we need to kind of figure out the optimum conditions, and these can be so temperamental. We've got about 5 or 6 different tests on the go at the minute. So this one, Silver Glory, as you can see, the leaves are almost plain, like that one, you can see, and they're a beautiful silver colour. Now you could confuse this with a normal woody string of hearts because there's not that much difference, and I've seen a lot of people on Facebook say that they've been sent normal woodies instead of Silver Glory, because Silver Glory is still pretty hard to get hold of. And as you can see, some of the younger leaves down here do have the kind of pattern from a woody, so I can understand how sellers get confused, but this is definitely a Silver Glory. So we'll put that one down so we can start comparing them. Next we'll do the normal woody. Here we go. Now these leaves have the variegation, not the variegation, like the pattern on them. And these are quite young plants, like baby plants, and they're going to put out shoots all over the place. So you've got new ones there, and they're sprouting off everywhere. And this colouring can take a little while to come out, so it can look pretty similar to the Silver Glory, but you can see the difference. Like, there is a distinctive difference. The leaf shape is the same, but there is a big difference. And this leaf here is almost like the quintessential String of Hearts leaf. lovely heart shape, nice little sort of speckled colouring, and that's it, string of hearts. Now move on to the next one. Now we'll do the variegated version because we're sort of going along in colour. Now this one is a bit more of a beefy looking chap than the other two. Now as you can see, oh, it's quite hanging. As you can see, I'm not going to untangle it too much in case the leaves decide to fall off of me. This is basically this plant, but the variegated version. And this one's got some lovely white variegation on it. These go pink in the sun. So when they're sun stressed, the variegated parts will go pink. And you see a lot of people selling pink ones as if they're a different variety, but they're not. They're just highly sun stressed. So please don't get caught out paying a fortune for a pink variegated one when it is literally this. All of these ones we sell relatively cheaply because they're relatively easy to get hold of, and they're quite common. You can get them everywhere, so they shouldn't cost you a fortune at all. And obviously for most people these are quite high turnover plants. People struggle with them, and it might take them 3 or 4 of these size ones to actually get them going. And what some people do is they'll find that, especially if they've got it hanging up, that the trail will look lovely and lush and is growing wonderfully, but the top of it will look really sparse and really dead. So they'll take one of these sort of baby plants and will sort of put it all around the top to fill the top out, and then obviously that'll overflow and make the plant bigger, I guess, almost like putting cuttings together. So these are great. Now this one is a Cerapedia Durban, it's called. It's not necessarily, well, I can't say that because I'm not 100% sure, a different species, but it's definitely different. And these ones are known as string of spades. Now these ones I find 10 times easier to maintain. They are the easiest plants in the world. And if you want a string of hearts that, you know, isn't going to be such a pain in the neck to look after, go for these ones. String of spades. Now the shape, they look very similar, okay? They look very, very similar. These are slightly more vibrant green to these ones. These are more like a tealy colour, but the shape is different. So let's have a look. So this leaf here, you can see, it's a lot more pointed and it's not as round and fat and chubby as these ones. So these are like more your traditional rounded heart shapes, whereas these are more like a spade, literally string of spades. So if you think spades on a playing card, if it's got the pointy bottom, then you've got a string of spades. If it's got the rounded bottom, you've got a string of hearts. So here you go, string of spades. That's it. Then moving on, what should we do next? Let's do this one. So this one at the minute is a bit of my pride and joy because we've only had these in for a little while, and I've heard of them, but they're pretty new. Well, they're new to us, and I think they're new to quite a lot of people in the UK, unless you're a hardened collector. These are pretty new. So this is called Ceropegia Orange River. And the reason it's called Orange River is because the backs of the leaves are like this pinky orange hue. I don't know if you can see. It's quite subtle. But in the sun, it kind of goes mad, and they get a really nice, almost like corally tinge to them. And obviously the leaves are a really interesting shape. Like that doesn't look like a string of hearts or a string of spades at all. It's much more narrow with a much more tapered end, which, you know, kind of gives it away. But as you can see, the stems themselves are like a dark orange or a pinky colour, like a dark coral. This natural light really isn't doing them any favours. And you've got these ones that have almost got like a speckled back to them. I don't know if you can see there. And these younger ones that haven't developed the colour yet. But these are awesome. I don't want to untangle it because this one is really long. But these are great. If you're a collector of string of hearts or Cerapedia varieties, this is the new kid on the block to add to your collection. Now finally, And I have to admit, I was a little bit disappointed with these when we got them in. And that's nothing on the plant, because the plant is lovely and healthy. I just thought they would be a bit more needly, if that makes sense. So, Cerapedia, string of needles. So this is actually a Cerapegia linearis. It's not a woody eye. So it's a slightly different variation of the Ceropegia. And as you can see, the leaves are sort of long and flat, hence the name string of needles. However, I thought they would be thick and chubby, and this is the first time I actually got my hands on this plant when it was delivered a couple of weeks ago. I thought they'd be fat and chubby, like more like a tube rather than flat. I mean, they've got a little bit of depth and much. String of needles. And my husband said, you know, it kind of looks like something you'd dig up if it was grown in your garden, which is kind of true. And I've seen other plants that make a better string of needles, and I do know some that have that name. So like a ruby necklace, you ever googled that, ruby necklace, they're amazing, and I think they should be called a string of needles more than this. So yeah, it's just personal preference. Obviously, if you're a collector, you're going to want to get all the varieties in, and these are still quite young. I mean, I know it's quite long and it's quite trailing, and this one's really healthy, but yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe it'll plump up as it gets bigger and the leaves will get bigger and be more of a thing. But there we go. So there is the 6. So just so you can see, Silver Glory, Woody Eye, Marley's or variegated string of hearts, Cerapegia Durban, string of spades, Cerapegia Orange River. So if you Google string of hearts Orange River, that's this one, and then Cerapegia linearis. So I hope that's helped you guys figure out the difference. When I was first starting out and wanting to get a nice trailing plant, finding the difference between these ones is an absolute nightmare online, because so many plants are labelled as different things and the growers all call them different things. So this nursery, and I'm going to flip this card round. So I've just noticed as well, if you look on the card, that's the only one that says Cerapegia Woody Eye String of Hearts, which is actually the plain one. All the rest of them just say Cerapegia. And this nursery, which is a nursery in Holland, it's the same for all of them. They grow the best, the healthiest, and so if you ever see them in garden centres or online with that pink labelling, buy it, you'll be onto a winner. The health of the plant is fine. It's the best nursery, unless whoever's selling them has done something horrific to them. I think you'll be okay. So fingers crossed that's helped you identify what you've got, or if you're looking for something new to add to your collection, this will help you find the next one. Let me know if you're missing, or if you know of an extra Cerapegia that I haven't included in here that you've got, that I can be on the lookout for. And as always, pop a comment in, let us know what you think, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.